clear cutting. That's clear cutting. Grow the trees, chop them down for paper. Paper and other things like it. Hey Stephanie, how you doing? You kicking it? You kicking it today? I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go to Augusta, I guess. I've been a little bored lately. I'm gonna go to Augusta. There's a bookstore down there I didn't know about. I heard about it, but I looked before and I couldn't find it, and I just put it in my GPS, and it showed it on there. I couldn't believe it. I've looked before. It's strange. Oh, good for you. I had a good drink last night. An average drink. I had a margarita. Good margaritas are hard to find. Average ones are all over the place. You know, they got them swirling around in the thing, and they just open a spigot. That'll be fun. Have a few drinks. It's a mood in hand. Are you familiar with the poet Bukowski? Look this up. You'll really appreciate this guy. Go up on YouTube and look at Bukowski. Bukowski. You're going to love him. I know you are. He spells it out just like we do. And you know, I'd never heard of him. I read a lot about poetry, quite a bit. I'd never heard of him. And I actually found him by looking up a similar name for something else. And then it showed Bukowski, poet. And for some strange reason, a college in Michigan, down the street from where I went, has his complete collection, which was even stranger. But I read that for about an hour and a half last night. I think you'd really appreciate. Watch his interviews, Bukowski. Man, this guy just nails it. I mean, no kidding. Hey, Frisky. Frisky, you need to look it up too. Bukowski is a poet. I found him accidentally. You will love him. Yeah, it's really good. That's a kind of poetry they should have shown me when I was younger. Yeah, you'll really go watch his interviews on YouTube. I found him accidentally. I'd never heard of him. Excellent. Like his takes on life and other poets and writers. He just slaughters these motherfuckers. Look up on some of Jim Morrison's poetry too. I'm really kind of undecided on Jim Morrison, if he was just a drunken, good-looking moron or an intellectual. You'd think that'd be easy. I think Bukowski was both. He was really kind of ostracized from the mainstream poets. He's an interesting guy. Worked at the post office. Read about him, and you're gonna love it. And Stephanie, he talks about drinking. He talks about drinking and how good it is. It really doesn't like illicit drug use. He just talks about his observations. Yeah, I like Morrison. I thought they were a good band. I didn't like them when they were around, no, or shortly thereafter, but I liked them as I got older. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And the bandmates were cool. Robbie Krieger, Densmore, and that organ player, Ray, what the hell's his name? Manzek or something? Polak from Chicago. He had a degree in economics. I mean, big deal, right? Manzarek or something like that. Motherfucker talked too much, though. When I saw him on anything, you just couldn't shut him up. I mean, there's good-looking Jim Morrison, and then there's these guys. It's just the fucking way it is. It'd be like going to a party and, you know, there was, you know, all these little dicked guys, and then you met Johnny Wadd. I mean, it's just not the same no matter how hard you try. Now, Robbie Krieger is still the guitar player from the Doors. He's still out there playing. I wish he wasn't. I think it's terrible. You could look him up too, Robbie Krieger. He's trying to play this like current music, and it's just like, old man, go away. Yeah, I read that in an article last night that Val Kilmer. There's a guy whose looks didn't last a lifetime. I remember girls talking about him when I was young, and I thought, you lucky son of a bitch. That's when you don't know anything. You don't realize all the trouble it's going to get you into, and sorrow and heartbreak and disappointment. But you don't know that then. But it sure caught up with him. He looks like an old fucking goddamn has-been dope addict. See, I don't think I'd go see a Morrison movie. I don't like it that much. I think he was I like to drink too, but fortunately not to that excess. I don't think I've ever been, maybe one time, I think I remember at some friend's house, and I was like 20 in Toledo, I threw up drinking. But not like, I don't know, that's a difference between an alcoholic mind and like a normal person that gets drunk here and there. A lot of those guys lost their looks. Look at, what's his face, George Michael. Really on the top with Wham. That was a lot of made up look. I mean, not fantastic looking, but good looking enough. Kind of like John Denver, Yeah, a lot of those guys, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, hey, I like George Michael too. Yep. Yeah, when they were at the top of their game, I remember I was thinking about getting married at the time. And that fucking song was playing on the radio constantly. Yeah. You know how you connect songs to events in your life? One time I had these two fat clients. I mean, these were beasts. I mean, 50-inch waist, but they sent me a shit ton of work. Both of them grew up to be old maids, and there's an amusement park about 100 miles from Detroit, Cedar Point. And these girls said, they were leaning on me pretty heavy to take them to Cedar Point. It's like, man, I have to, So I talk a buddy of mine in, and I said, look, man, I'll pay for everything, do me a favor. I got to take these two jumbos to Cedar Point. And he would go with me. He said, yeah, I'll do it. And about 2 hours into it, all he did was, we about got in a fight over it. He wanted to leave so bad. Fucking 10 hours. It's the longest days of my life. Yeah, no, that's no shit. Yeah, it's true. It didn't bother me that bad. I mean, it wasn't like, there's so much. I was thinking, I've talked to you about before how that guy that was really kind to me when I was young, he's an angry man. The one that said if he ever got a chance, he'd fuck the Virgin Mary in the ass. But he was full of a lot of wisdom. He really told me a lot of things that rang true later on in life. I can share some of them with you if you'd like. You probably won't consider it good advice, but it is. Yeah, well, one time I was gonna go, I had a girlfriend up at Michigan State. Now, here's a guy that never went to school hardly, barely hanging in there. My mom made it so I graduated, but somehow I had smart girlfriends, and their parents always hated it. That's because they didn't see Jack hammering them back on some fucking country road. Knew why we were really together, but that's a different story. Anyway, it was a blizzard, and now he's dead. He's dead. I did stay in touch with him. Actually, we got in an argument one time. I didn't talk to him for about 10 years. The motherfucker was dying of cancer, and I came back up from Florida and did what I could, which was nothing. bought him a mail order cure thing, Cancel it was called. Remember, I got my money back when he died. But well, here's some examples. He told me when you'd see a good-looking woman, he'd say, nudge in, he'd say, you see that good-looking woman? I said, yeah. He said, she's pretty, and she is like, yep. He said, someone's tired of fucking her. And I'm thinking, what? Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. But back to the girlfriend at Michigan State. It was snowing like a motherfucker. And that was about 75 miles away where I was going to college. And it was like, don't go out, roads closed and all that shit. And there wasn't anything that was getting in the way of me driving up there. And I happened to stop over there for some reason. And he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going up to see Kay at Michigan State. He said, in this weather? I said, yeah. He said, can I give you a little hint? It's like, yeah. I said, a hint what? He said, well, it's fucked up out there, It's like, you shouldn't be even on the roads. I said, no, but I really want to go. He said, I know you really want to go. I was in your shoes at one time when I was that age. He said, go jack off and then look at the weather. Again, life lessons. But what brought this conversation up and what I thought, this guy really, this motherfucker was spot on. Now you wouldn't dole it out to your kids probably as a parent, but it sure was great advice from a non-parent. And he said, I'm going to tell you another thing in life you're going to find out. He said, you're going to find in your life that you're going to have female friends that you don't have sexual relationships with. But deep down, the ones that you find time for, the ones that you get together and have a coffee or, go to a library or something. He said, deep down, you'd fuck them if you could. Real deep down. He said, but the ones that you wouldn't, you just somehow, some way, have a way of getting out of hooking up with them, even for the smallest reason. When they're sick, you wish them well, but you don't take them to the doctor. And all this stuff at the time when I got it laid on me, I thought, man, what is it, but as I got older, this son of a bitch was dead nuts on. I mean, it really was. Now, his son got killed when I was in high school on a motorcycle. And he was like depressed, miserable. He looked like somebody you'd see on The Sopranos. Yeah, and that fucker got cancer. His sister was nice too. But he eventually died. Now, I tell you guys all the time that once it's tits up, I think that's it, man. I don't think anything's going anywhere. I just saw my own parents' grave accidentally, looking for a lost dog about 5 years ago. I never went and visited their graves once. I could have gave a fuck. Now, I had two stillborn siblings, and I did look for theirs once in a different cemetery where I grew up, just out of curiosity. And I don't really believe in that bullshit. But I knew that. I knew them. I knew him, and I knew the son, of course, that died. And I knew that when they got buried there in the same cemetery where I had these stillborn siblings, if there was any credence to, paying your last respects or any of that bullshit, or if there was, excuse me, any connection to the dead with the living, like putting flowers on graves and shit, then I knew it was the end of the road for them, that there wasn't anybody left that was going to do that shit. It's just nobody left. They didn't have any friends. The son had been dead since 72. I think Nick died in 93. So when I occasionally, when I go back there, I will put fucking flowers on their grave, if you can believe it. Just in case, just in case I'm wrong. That's why I do it. I mean, I don't think I should like get any credit or anything, but just in case I'm like off base on all this bullshit, I do it. Not every time. Sometimes years go by before I do it, but I do. And I don't even like consider that for anybody else. It's thought-provoking, really. You know, I go through these old cemeteries. There's a lot of them down here, and you just you see these. You look at these people that died like 80 years ago, and there's fresh flowers on their grave, and I think, wow, that's on somebody's mind. Hey, Lakota, how you doing? So I don't care what they do to. I want to get one of those. I always forget the name of it. I'm reading a book on memory now. Of course, can't remember the name of it. It's a word association kind of. I did 2 chapters last night. My memory's okay. I don't think it's great. Unless it comes to porn, I don't need to do any fucking imagery there. I know the exact titles, all of those, because it interests me. People's names are not worth a fuck at. I know why too. I've read articles on this too. There's a guy that wrote a book on memory, Joshua Fedor. I know why I don't remember people's names, because I don't give a fuck. I don't care what their name is. It's not important to me. You ever run into one of these jack-offs at a party that's going around and trying to impress everybody with remembering their names? I mean, it's just like, what a fucking super nerd. It's just not necessary. There's people I communicate with all the time. I couldn't tell you their name. And one of the theories on that is that there's a temporary short time period of anxiety, and you're thinking of other things, and you're not coding it in your memory. I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows? I don't care. We've been practicing these techniques. Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example of how I did it. It does work, I guess, at least in a limited way, but it's a discipline. It's just like getting up and exercising every morning. I mean, you'd think it didn't involve physical exercise, but here's an example. So I'm going to that doctor the other day, and when you cut up through the way I go, it's a small town that hasn't kept up with sprawl, and one car gets to make a left turn in a busy 2-lane highway. So you're there for fucking ever before you can turn left. And I wanted to tell the doctor when I got there, because this is a brand new building, and the name of the road is Barnett Shoals. And I thought, now maybe I could remember it. Sometimes you do, Barnett Shoals. And I remembered it by thinking of an asshole teacher I had, Barnett and Muscle Shoals, Leonard Skinner. Muscle Shoals, and they were fucking around down there. And I remember it, and so it does work. And then there's another way you can do it, where you can like compartmentalize body parts, your feet and your knees and your waist and all this shit. It's really interesting. I've been fucking around with it. It's not fun, but it does work. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I think it is. Yeah, word association, that kind of thing. Another one too I did too. For some reason I can never remember this motherfucker's name. Billy Squire. I don't know why, but I remember it now because I applied these techniques. Now I laugh, but I remembered it, and after all, that's the name of the game. Billy, like Billy Goat. Squire, I think like a chess piece. And I think of a billy goat with a chess piece stuck through his head. Billy Squire. And I remember it. Isn't that fucking crazy? And up until then, I could not remember that fucker's name for some reason. So I really encourage you to practice these methods. There's a bunch of ways you can do it. you know? Yeah, face blindness. Yeah, it's weird. Hey, Betsy. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird. I mean, there's like things that that's why they're open book tests, you know, because if you've read it, you know, open book tests are a bitch, man. I flunked more than one of those. You think if they gave you the fucking book with the answers in it, like this is no problem, bullshit. Because you don't have time to read through all that shit in that half hour that you get to take that test. You're flipping through those goddamn pages left and fucking right. You know, you'll have fucking 1,000 chapters, man. It's like, god damn it. And I'll tell you another thing, too. Memory is faulty about how it remembers things. I know a prosecutor, and she told me that worst thing that ever happened was video cameras. It basically eliminates every eyewitness and the bullshit things they said they saw. She said she'd rather have cameras and no eyewitnesses, because the eyewitnesses would get them acquitted. They say it's a green car when it was a red car. They say he was 6 feet tall when he was 4. Just one damn thing after another, creating that doubt. They make the eyewitnesses look like the Three Stooges. It's crazy. It's going to get cold tonight. It got cold last night. It's only 50 today. It's weird. What a disappointing winter for Michigan. They canceled that big thing up there at Marquette. That thing Mary went to was a damn monsoon with an open harbor and no snow. I mean, that's a real bummer, man. They need to take that Farmer's Almanac and just quit printing it. What a crock of shit. They said Michigan was going to have a severe winter. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? I got to take this like upper GI thing where you blow into these tubes, then you mail them to them. That fucking upper GI isn't scheduled till April 29th. Fuck, I'll probably be dead by then. I definitely get. Now, I don't have the cancer anywhere. They did say I had a small kidney stone and some spot on my liver, but they said they see them all the time. It's not a tumor. So, but there's something in my upper GI. It's fucked up. Yeah, that sucks, man. No shore ice. I mean, that's disappointing. You know, like, I would be missing Michigan now if you had a typical winter. I looked on the Mackinac Bridge cam today. There's a little bullshit ice, but nothing like those fucking good-ass videos I took under the bridge when it was blowing, ice sticking to the columns. Hey, Mary. And God knows what kind of, you know, and traditionally it is linked to water levels. So, I mean, I haven't heard too much about that this year. Another thing, too, those whitefish up there in Michigan damn near disappeared. I mean, you know, this stuff's fragile. You don't need to jack the damn water temperature up 20 degrees. Like a half degree will do it with spawning. I'll tell you another thing, and I haven't read this, but I know it's true. All you got to do is talk to fishermen. Yellow perch. Spend the rest of your life out there trying to catch yellow perch up around Alpena, the bridge, down around where Mary lives. Fucking these lakes up. Oh, there you go. Is it windy up there? Was it real windy? I was even looking up, I like blizzards, man. I'm going to travel to a blizzard next year. And I've been to places where I've really got snowed in. It was so great and exciting. One time I was in Amana Colonies, Iowa, too, and a tornado came through. And I was standing on the top of this big hill and watched it until it got about 2 miles away. Just when it got to me, toward me, it raised up. It was still like raining sideways. And then it lowered on the other side and killed a couple people in Iowa City. And then one time I was out in Wall Drugs in South Dakota, and they got like 25 inches. I was in Deadwood, South Dakota. They got creamed. I was trying to get through Beartooth Pass one time, going to Yellowstone, Red Lodge. Got just buried, man. I'm talking about snow up to your hood. But I was looking up where my most likelihood of a good blizzard would be, and unfortunately it's not Michigan anymore. It's the Great Plains states, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska. The further west you get, east of the Continental Divide, it's really dry. They don't get the snow you think they would. Yeah, that is cool video. If you like rocks, man, it's paradise where I live. I'm not shitting you. I got you a big bucket of rocks. I'll be coming up there probably I don't really even I don't like going to Michigan that much in the winter, the way it's been. Just depressing. Damn half-inch of snow on your window. What the fuck? Come on, Daisy, get over there. Yeah, just kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Daisy wants to see where we're going. She likes to lay against the door. It's cool. All right, have a good day. Mary, up where you're living, those housing prices are getting ridiculous, man. Even in places that were traditionally affordable, like Kingsley. I had friends that just built a house. Daisy just laid on the rolled the window down in the back window. You're rolling the windows down, huh, with your foot, honey. You're rolling the windows down with your foot, hon. They built this house out there, during COVID. This house is no big deal either. Anyway, they got their first real tax bill, after the house was completed. $5,000 a year. Fuck that. You don't even have any services out there in Kingsley. Stephanie, you're really going to like that Bukowski. You're going to identify with it so heavily. He said he'd have killed himself 30 years earlier if it wouldn't have been for drinking. I thought to myself right then, Stephanie's going to love this. Truck driving. There's zero romance in truck driving. Doesn't pay that great anymore. These regulators are on your ass constantly. You got every jack off in the world from A to B cutting you off. Cops fucking with you. Getting to your places to unload. You're there too early, so you get a ticket because you're parking on the side of the road. You know, this is getting to be a major crisis, particularly as you get south of Lexington. There's no fucking place to park a truck. They don't want you parking on the side of the road. The rest stops, they don't want you taking those up. The truck stop parts, they're all jammed with trucks. Yeah, brake checks, semis, yeah. So stupid. I get on their ass from time to time when they're in the left lane. They're supposed to be in the right lane. Motherfuckers. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, what a jack off that would do something like that. Is she gonna keep it? You know, that's another thing. Even something like that now, like puppies. You go rescue a puppy. In the old days, hey, rescue a puppy, you know, give him something to eat, give him some worms. It's not like that anymore. Now you rescue a puppy, you take him to the vet, and you get a $700 bill. Is she gonna keep him? You'd have to be something really psycho wrong with you to tie a puppy up outside. Same with these crazy bastards that like murder these women that like want to go and hike the Appalachian Trail and shit like that, and they if I swear to God, if I lived in a place like that where that bullshit was going on, I would dedicate like 2 or 3 nights of my life a month to just wear all dark clothing and just hide in the woods, hoping I catch one of these motherfuckers doing something like that. I mean, it'd be pretty unlikely, but you could get lucky. Just women out just wanting to enjoy their life, and these crazy perverts doing that. It just makes it extra sad to me when that happens. Like, worse than a normal murder. And when they catch these guys are such fucking pussies, man. You know, just these wacko, weird looking fuckers that just get the drop on you. They're not even like tough people. I was in Chicago one time. This lady was just jerking her dog. It kind of like snapped at another dog. I mean, just like beating it. And I went up to her and I said, "You hit that dog one more fucking time, and I'm going to beat your fucking ass. I will." I said, "It's my dog. Mind your own business." I said, "Well, you hit it again. You hit that dog one more time, I'm going to beat you." Just like torturing this dog for just being a dog. Hey, Jeremy, how you been doing? Here's crazy. I ran into my neighbor getting my chicken dinner at the gas station. He said that a big possum. Now, we've got a couple of them. Tore the legs off one of his chickens last night. He said he's going to kill it. I'm pretty good. You're living the dream. Good for you. That's not easy. Here's another thing your tax dollars pay for. You buy a house in a neighborhood where cars go by, and then you expect the government to silence the traffic noise for you. I mean, did you fucking look when you were looking at houses? Believe it or not, I found the noise of traffic therapeutic. I really did. Yeah, that's how I'm getting to. Yeah, I don't like the responsibility either. I've been thinking about breeding fantail guppies. You know, I like genetics and doing that. But I really kind of feel bad they're in a tank. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just another typical conundrum of life. You know, when I was getting that divorce, I had to pay $4,000 for a fucking appraisal, $3,500 for an appraisal of that property. And this fucking lawyer sends me a shitty email from this appraisal company saying the bill was 194 days late, and this is ridiculous and unsatisfactory, some shit like that. And the lawyer wrote it back and said that I thought Tom contracted with you directly, which I fucking did. You think they'd have done the appraisal without getting paid? And I wired it into the motherfucker's account. And I had the pleasure of calling him up and calling him a stupid cocksucker. It just put the biggest smile on my face. I set it up perfect. It's like I said, hey, can I speak to Mr. Jameson? Oh, Mr. Jameson, how might I help you? It's like, yeah, you did an appraisal for me. You sent a copy of a email to a lawyer saying it wasn't. He said, yeah, it's just, and he's stupid enough to say it again. I said, you are one dumb motherfucker. He said, excuse me? I said, you stupid son of a bitch, you couldn't even, ask, could you please check your records? It was wired into your account, you dumb fuck. Go look. He finally hung up on me, but what a smile that put on my face. I'm still smiling about it right now. Now, if that had been local or someone Marty knew, I'd have had to shut my fucking mouth and have my blood pressure spike up. But I got the pleasure of telling him what I really thought and got the ultimate gratification of him hanging up. No, I'm in Georgia. Yeah, I probably thought it was Michigan. No snow. Georgia on my mind. Oh, it was so great. All right, you have a good day, Mary. Wet the tip of your finger and stick it up in the air. Make sure you know which way the wind's coming from. Yeah, I got to sign off too because I'm not sure where this bookstore is now. I got to put it in my GPS. So you guys have a good day today. You party on tonight. Thank your daughter for saving the dog. If she's a Christian, that's part of good works. You peace out. Yeah, everything looks like Michigan now. No snow anywhere. I mean, they're gonna how would you like to own a ski resort this year in Michigan? God damn. And it's super expensive to make that snow, especially when it melts. It's one thing if you got to make it and you get 2 weeks out of it. It's another thing if you got to make it every fucking day. It's expensive. You party on, Conan. It was very nice of her to do. She's a chip off the old block. Hey, Lucid. You have a good day too. I was wondering where you've been in those late night chats. Where have you been lately? Lucid dreaming. Hey, Lucid, go look up Bukowski. Look at his interviews on YouTube. A poet. Bukowski. Look it up. Look at his interviews about life and work. And this fucker just sums it up perfect. No wonder he wasn't invited to any cocktail parties. When he won an award, he told them to stuff it up their ass. How could you not love the guy? All right, yeah, you're gonna really like it. We'll discuss it next time. We will discuss it next time. All right, you guys have a good day. You party on. You rock on. Peace out. Maybe we'll have a chat tonight. Hi, Daisy. Hi, honey. We're getting off at the exit, hon. Rock on.